All right, well, thank you, folks, for those of you that have waited to allow the others to come in. And if you weren't here earlier, welcome to this webinar. Today I'm going to show you our new product, FractZen. This webinar is being recorded, and yes, you'll be able to get a copy of it. It'll be posted on the website usually 48 hours after it finishes. So Pieter, I've got your message. I'm sorry you're in hospital. Get well soon, mate. And we'll certainly have this posted on the website for you after. Give Terry, usually takes 24 hours or so to render it and get it on. This is a Theta Hi to you too. This is a very, very exciting project for me. It's something that started 3 years ago, and I have been searching for a volatility switch that would allow us to have intraday charts that would create signals, but that would also adjust to the changes in volatility in markets. So this is stuff that's come out of the Project X research that some of you are aware of. Where I've got to with this great venture is that I haven't been able to find a volatility switch that would run at the speeds that I wanted, but I'll keep working on that. One day I'm sure I'll find it. But this version is not far off. So I wanted to show you what the FractZen charts do, what the signals do, and we've taken ourselves into a new era of mobile phones and cell phones. Some of you have met me, and even some of you think I'm that dreadful word old, O-L-D, which my friend Frank posted the other day, which was quite a shock. I guess it's because some of you are so young that anyone with grey hair looks old. But I have to admit I haven't been a great follower of technology. I personally haven't owned a cell phone ever in my life, and I just borrow my son's cell phone. He's got about 3 of them when I'm traveling overseas, so I can stay in touch with my family. But I haven't really kept up with the wonders of technology, but I'm aware that trading is moving on with technology and electronics, and I thought this would be a very exciting answer for many of you, and it's going to have quite a few applications. Firstly, the whole point of the FractZen signals is that we're going to send them as a text message direct to your cell phone, or if you prefer, Terry can send them to you as an email, which means that you don't have to have the charts, you don't have to do the hours of research to see the signals, create the signals, and all the work that some of us do. We're going to do that for you. And this program is going to create buy and sell signals. At the moment, it's in 9 futures markets we're running, and we're going to, within the next couple of weeks maybe, we're going to add selected Forex markets as well for those of you who are Forex traders. So let's have a look at it. The picture you're looking at is our hero, Daniel, who of course wrote the original Danielcode, which is where all this stuff comes from. So let me see if I can get this started, and see if we can get this to move. Okay, this is a very beautiful place in the Waiheke Gulf, which is the Gulf immediately to the east of Auckland in New Zealand. And it's called Waiheke Island. It's a most beautiful island. It's about a 40-minute ferry trip from Auckland, New Zealand, and we're going to have a tutorial there, which is going to run from Tuesday the 3rd of December to the end of the week. This is just a marvelous place. It's a very non-commercial island. It's just naturally beautiful, as you can see, and it's often been described as a New Zealand farm out in the ocean. So this is not a Waikiki or a commercialized setup at all. In fact, the biggest motel on the island, and it's just a motel, has 17 rooms, and we have booked all of them. I don't normally start promoting tutorials until a couple of months before they are on, but due to the limited accommodation at Waiheke, I wanted to get this message to you earlier so that you can go ahead, those of you who are coming down for that tutorial, and you should, can go ahead and get your accommodation booked. There are other places on the island. There's actually plenty of accommodation, but it's spread out a bit. And as many of you can, we'd like to have you all together because we have dinners together, parties together, go fishing together. And Mary and Fluffy, who actually live on Waiheke, tell me you can just fall over the side of the boat and swim down and pick up live lobsters. So we're going to see and do all of that. And so these tutorials are very important for your trading, but also they're about the best fun you can have standing up. So that tutorial is going to be 3rd to the 6th December. I'll get the syllabus done up over the weekend and get it out to you. Basically, it will be very much the same syllabus as we had at the Las Vegas tutorial. And I was actually thinking I could take a shortcut and use that syllabus to send to you, but that starts off with prey and predators, including mountain lions. Well, in New Zealand, there are no predators. There's just nothing there to bite you. They don't have mountain lions. They don't have wolves. They don't have snakes. No snakes. It's like Ireland, snake-free, which I love. It's just the most beautiful place in the world. Those people who've been down there have absolutely loved it. The trip is long, but it's pretty cheap at the moment. Don't forget the New Zealand currency is worth about 77, 78 US cents at the moment, so it's a great opportunity to get down there. And I hope those of you who are even thinking of a tutorial, come on down, please, because I don't know when the next one will be, but it likely won't be till about mid-2014. Excuse me. The next slide shows you the website, and it hasn't changed for you yet. It's a bit slow getting across to you. You've got it now. There's the another photo of Waiheke. There's the website for Waiheke Island. I suggest you go to it and have a look. It's a lovely, lovely place, quite incredible. Got beautiful vineyards, lots of activities, almost anything you can think of you can do over there. And two of our members, Mary and Glennis, who some of you know, her posting name is Sister Sage, and Mary's is, I think, Mary C. Anyway, Mary has the real estate agency that covers all of Waiheke Island, so she's there pretty much most of the time. And some of our clients actually live there. Smedge, you would know that Fluffy has a house over there and spends a good bit of time over living there. Mary and Glennis have set up this email. You can see it's DC Waiheke Tutorial 2013 at gmail.com. So that's DCWAIHEKE TUTORIAL 2013 at gmail.com. And Mary and Glennis are kindly doing a lot of this setup for me. Glennis and her husband Daryl, who's been a client of mine for very, very many years, have been over there, had a look at it all, and as has Mary, who's booked the venue for us and what have you. But that Gmail address you see there will take you to Glennis or Mary, and you'll be able to talk to them about anything that you had of interest. A lot of the people who come to our tutorials in New Zealand will then go on to take a tour of New Zealand. It's a long way over here, and you've got two islands, the North Island and the South Island. They're both beautiful. The South Island is, of course, world-renowned for the beautiful Milford Sounds. Big cruise ships go in there. They're like, you'd call them fjords. Go in there within 50 meters of the rock edges. There's the Franz Joseph Glacier. There's the ski fields at Queenstown. Golf, swimming, fishing, everything. And Glennis has, in the past, organized some tours for people to get around and see a bit of the country while they're here. So if you're coming down, get in touch with Mary or Glennis at that Gmail address there, and they'll put you onto the right people to organize the rest of your trip. All right, back on to FractZen now. So the first chart you're looking at is the FractZen chart of crude oil. And this is standard. This has got nothing to do with Standard Oil New Jersey. This is just the standard speed at which this program that we're going to release to you runs. And as you can see, it creates buy and sell signals. Excuse me. And at this speed, this particular chart, which is pretty average, probably a bit more trend in it than most, it's produced 8 signals in 12 trading days, so a bit less than 1 a day, and we say that the average is about 1 a day. Look at that shift. She got me laughing already. Is that Mary swimming topless at that Waiheke Island photo? Look, I think it is. It might be the other one too. You know, it might be Sage. She's a known topless sunbather, so all things are possible at the Danielcode shift. Good to have you here with us, old mate. So anyway, there's the chart. I want you to just sort of try and visually imprint these charts so you can get an idea of what it does, because you're not going to see the charts. We're going to send you the signals, and they'll come through as a text on your cell phone, and it will say buy CL for crude, or buy HG for copper, or sell ES, whatever. We've been testing those signals for quite a while. There's quite a feat of Terry's to get the technology working to get that done and overcome all the difficulties we've had in the past with this idea, because so many of the telecoms have different setups in different states and different countries, and some of them limit the number of texts you can get and what have you. We've overcome that, and our testing is that these text signals come to your cell phone very, very promptly, literally a matter of seconds, or at the most 1 or 2 minutes. Excuse me. If you do opt for the email function, I know some of you don't have particularly good cell phone reception. Jan, for example, hiya Jan, has to drive up the hill to collect her emails because she has no reception where she lives now. We're not that keen on emails because they can be delayed up to 30 minutes quite often, but if you do need the email option, Terry will arrange that for you. But the best idea is just have the normal cell phone option. These signals will come through to you. They'll just beep up, appear on your cell phone, and you can get on and place your order. I'm going to talk to you later about how to trade this stuff and some options with stop losses and stuff, but let's just run through it so you can get the picture of what's coming to you. So there's crude at the standard speed. The next chart is a much faster speed. This is going to be available to you in about a week to 10 days. And this is the same market running at a much faster speed. You saw in the last chart that the standard speed created 8 signals in 12 days, and on average we would say that it's going to be slightly less than 1 a day. And this faster version, as you can see, has created 40 signals in 12 days, or about an average of 3 signals a day. I think that's a little bit too fast, and we're probably going to slow it down a tad, but this is ideal for people who day trading, scalping, want to just take $500 out of each trade or whatever. This would be ideal for you, the faster version. So that will be available in about 10 days. I guess we've got all these things running on separate servers and backups, and of course the data feed needs to be monitored and the connectivity needs to be monitored, and so on. The next chart that's coming up for you to see in a moment is actually corn. Those of you who follow corn will know this market has just been trending and trending and trending, and this is a big trending market. And what I wanted to highlight to you here, obviously the blue B's are buy signals and the red S are sell signals. I wanted to highlight to you how this FractZen has kept you on the right side of the market. Let me see if I can find this strange tool that I sometimes use. Here it is. It's called a spotlight. And you can see we had a buy signal right back at the beginning of this chart, which is about the middle of July. Up it went. We got the sell. There's your red sell right at the top. You got all this trade down here. It went back onto a buy, went up, rallied. The sell got you short again with this big trend. It went down into this buy signal on July the 18th, rattled around sideways, and then look at this sell signal here. It got you in again just for the big move. You had about 5 or 6 bars to sit through, and down it went. You had this trade all the way down to this buy signal, which again went back on a buy. It went sideways. It tried to consolidate and rally, and then there's your next S sell signal, which got you in for the next big move down. So this market works very well in trending markets, and it works very well in consolidating markets. The idea of all of this stuff, I mean, is to try and make your life as traders easier and more successful. And we haven't had anything like this before. And I think it's quite extraordinary that you can just, don't even have to look at a chart. You just walk around and with your cell phone, or get on with your work, or go party, whatever you want, and these signals will come through to your cell phones, and you just place the order, and we'll talk later about your different options with trading it. I've put margin at the top of this page to remind me to tell you that some of you will already know that many brokers offer very reduced margins for day trading. There are even a number of executing firms out there who will let you trade markets like the EMini for a margin of $500 if you're a day trader and you're going to close your trade out at the end of the day. So make sure you explore with your broker what these options are, and this is all technology, and it's offering you new and great opportunities. So that's why I put that note up there. Let's see where we get to next. Our next doesn't want to work until you change it back. Bear with me. Let's see if we can get this page to change. There we are. And this is a Forex chart. This is Ozzie JPY. This is going to be available to you in the next, inside the month. Probably it will take 3 weeks. We have the technology. We're running it. It works exactly the same as the futures. You can, but we need it to go on a different server. And you can see here the blue trades were profitable. Forget about the brackets. They're not losses. They're anything in blue is a profit. That's just the way that the Trade Navigator tool that calculates profit and loss on each trade expresses it, because it's designed for stock traders. It doesn't understand that futures traders can be both long and short. And you can see, looking from left to right, you had 198 tick win, 226 tick win, 433 tick win, 110 tick win, 113 tick win, and then 103 tick loss at the end. So there's 428, 900, 1,040, 1,120 odd in winning trades and 105 in losing trades. Now, that's a pretty good chart. It's not always that good, but I'm going to show you some of the not so impressive ones later. But as you can see, it's just a marvelous way to trade. You don't have to do any preparation. You don't actually have to know anything about trading other than how to place an order. And if you don't know how to do that, pick up your phone and ring a broker, and they'll tell you. And with us today we have William and John Galworth from Striker Securities, who are our supporting brokers, and also Jerry Winter. And you'll find their details under the contact details at the Danielcode website. They're the folks that I personally have been dealing with for many years. I know those guys personally and well. Ring up Stryker, talk to William or Dan there. You won't be able to talk to John Galwas. He founded the firm, but he retired some years ago. But on the 15th, write it down, of this month, that'll be this day next week, we're honored to have John Galwas on as a special guest. I'm going to do a new webinar for you on the fourth seal, but we're also going to have John Galwas there to talk to us about the changes he's seen in the industry and where he sees it going. And he's a most influential man in the futures world. He's held many official positions there, and write that down, please. You'll enjoy that webinar greatly. So talk to William or Dan at Stryker, or talk to Jerry Winter, and they'll tell you how you can open accounts and get yourself organized to trade these things in the easiest possible way. So there's Forex. We'll have that available for you in the next few weeks. The next page that's coming to you is, we're starting to look now in detail at some of our more recent trades. Our trading recently has been absolutely fabulous. We've made a ton of money. If you take FractZen and use it, you'll make a lot more. I'm going to talk later about how you tie this into what's happening with the Danielcode signals. But you don't need anything else. Primarily, it's a standalone trading tool. As you can see from this chart, if you took that buy signal in July the 31st, it ran up $3,030. You then had a sell signal that just about broke even. You had a buy signal that failed. Remember, signals do fail. It's why you need stop-loss orders on this stuff. And that trade lost $1,200 and then switched over to the sell, which made $2,050. So just from the end of the month, you've made, FractZen has made 5,000 in wins and lost 1,200, so 3,800 profit from placing a few orders. It's pretty amazing stuff. When markets trend, and you'll be aware they don't always trend, but when they do, you really collect big time. Here's a copper chart, which has come up for you now. Same thing, I'm showing you the standard FractZen signals that we've had recently. You had the rundown from July the 25th. That made almost $2,800 before it went on to the buy. The buy made $2,500. Then you had a bit of sideways consolidation. You had a losing trade of 260, another losing trade of 300, and then it went back onto the buy, and it's an awful lot higher than that today. That last blue trade showing $62 is much, much more than that, but you'll appreciate I had to do these charts yesterday to get them ready for your webinar. So there's copper's been moving a bit. It's been turning exactly and always on our TO3 and plus signals, which you can subscribe to for a very small fee. And there's 2, 3, 5 something, pretty close to $5,000 net in your pocket since July the 25th. It's wonderful stuff, and I'm terribly excited about this. And I don't get excited about much. I've been trading for 30 years. I've had the Danielcode now for over 22 years since I started finding it and using it, and I see this stuff all the time, but this FractZen's really excited me. Here's the DAX. You can see back in end of July we had, this is a very big contract incidentally, so the numbers look bigger. You'll see when I show you some of the grains, which are very small contracts, the numbers look smaller, but you balance that simply by the number of contracts you wish to take within your risk management profile. So at the end of July we had a couple of losing trades. Anything you do in the DAX is big numbers because it's worth 30 odd euros per point. So you had a losing trade of 1,000, another losing trade of 25, another losing trade of 1750, and just about when you're about ready to say, screw this stuff doesn't work, look what it did. It takes off. It gave you 3,000 on the way up, 3,600 on the way down, and it went on to a buy signal today and gave you another 700 or 800 in the little rally. So that's what markets do. They test you to the point of breaking because they're trying to get consensus the wrong way. The job of markets is to get the majority of people wrong, and just about when you're ready to say, I'm fed up with this, that's when it rewards the ones who have some idea of what they're doing. Now, you're going to be able to subscribe to all of these signals individually by individual markets, and we've reduced the price by more than 50%. I think this stuff's worth, I don't know what it's worth, but I can tell you if you calculate its returns, it should be a very large fee. We've reduced the fees down to $75 per single market, and you can subscribe to as many as you want, and there are no discounts for subscribing to more than one. But I expect most of you will have 3, 4, or 5 markets if you've got any sense at all. And don't, for goodness sakes, all run to gold and the EMini, because gold is actually one of the worst trading markets that we have. And that's because, I mean, I love trading gold, but it can go into these quiet slumber periods where it just has not sufficient volatility. The trade can be correct, but the market doesn't move far enough to give you profit. So I wanted to show you this and tell you that gold still remains the worst trading market, although if you look at the buy signal today, which of course was, don't forget, a Danielcode buy signal plus signal. We've had the Huey buy up for 2 days and the gold signal buy it today, and for GMA traders, silver also. Both those trades have been very big. And FractZen, of course, got them all. But just be aware, I said I'd show you the good and the bad. These markets, if they have not got sufficient volatility, the trades will be correct, but you will lose money on them. And you need to be diversified. We can't yet forecast future volatility. One day I'll work out how to do it, but I haven't been able to do it yet, and nor has anyone else, incidentally. But lots of things in the Danielcode, like the fourth seal and the Danielcode blue lines, we're doing for the first time, where people have been trying to do them for 100 years and failed. You can get it here, but be aware that these markets, when they're sideways and choppy, you will lose money, whether you're trading FractZen or the DC signals or anything else. It's volatility. All these trading systems are basically a form of volatility accumulator, and we do need markets to move to make the money. So you can see here, after that nasty run of losses on the left-hand side of this chart, when it started to move away, it made a lot of money, and I don't know what it's made today, but it's made a lot of money on the buy signal today, a great deal of money. So be aware of that. Don't all rush and nominate gold, because it's not the best trading market. The best trading markets are the ones that the public knows least about. In other words, the EMini is not a spectacularly good, S&P is not a spectacularly good trading market, nor is gold. The great trading markets are US dollar index, copper, DAX, the grains, and the ones that the public are a little less aware of, as you've seen here. Okay, so let's move on now. Here's sugar. This is what's been happening to us with sugar. This is another one of those really good markets. The dollar value is small because this is a small contract, but you can take a lot more contracts. You don't have to just trade one contract. So here's your trading in FractZen from the end of July. 557, 8, 9. There's about $800 profit there per one contract, and it's a very small contract. And you've just had the one loss of $44. All the figures in blue are wins. So I want you to try to imprint on your mind what these charts look like, so that you'll understand and not be taken aback by some losses. These markets do have losses, but the wins far, far outweigh the losses. So there's sugar, and I think we're going to perhaps come back to that and match that up with the daily chart. And here it is. One of the ways, this is the daily chart. It hasn't come up for you guys yet, but it will in a moment. I'm about 8,000 miles away from you, so it does take a while even with the marvels of technology. You can see the chart now. This is the daily chart, and these are the TO3 and plus signals, the Danielcode daily signals that we create and post every day. And I've just put on the ones that are relevant for the last period because I just showed you the sugar chart. This is the daily chart of sugar, and I want to show you how the best times to trade are around the Danielcode daily signal. So you can see the first sell signal was elected. That was quite a big trade on the short side. The chart I just showed you before started with the next buy signal. You had that run up. You had the sell signal right at the top. Down it went, and then it went on to a buy. So the best time to trade, you can trade all the time if you like, I do, but the times that you can expect more volatility are around the times when there are Danielcode trade signals available. For those of you who are members of the Danielcode, you see these on the website every day. You don't need to be a member of the Danielcode to get FractZen. You don't need to look at charts. You can just take what we send you and trade that, which is what this webinar is about. But I want to just make that point to you. But those tend to be the periods when the most volatility comes into the market. And by volatility, I mean both ways. These are trades against the Danielcode signals. In other words, these are trades that did not get elected. So the Danielcode created those three buy signals that you can see, and the market ignored them and kept going down because it's in a strong trend. But what happens around those TO3 and plus signals is that the Danielcode programs have calculated that markets are due for a turn. They're at a known Danielcode number, which is the first thing, and one of the smaller time cycles has expired. It works off the normal Danielcode time cycles, you know, but on a mini basis, on a much smaller basis. So markets are ripe for a turn. They're at Danielcode, in this case support, and the time cycle, the TO3, is a mini time cycle, has expired. So markets, we expect them to turn, and when they turn, we do very well. The point I want to make to you here is when they don't turn, we also do very well because what's actually happening is that it takes a new force coming into the market to overcome the TO3 buy signal, and these were all buy signals that were not elected. To be elected, the market has to trade a couple of ticks above the previous daily bar. But when there's a TO3 signal and it does not get elected, we very often see this acceleration of the original trend because a new force has come into the market to push it down. So if you look at that first buy signal, you had a relatively big bar. 2 days later, you had another buy signal for the inside bar, and look how the market accelerated for the next 3 days. And all of that is just gold to FractZen players. And then we had another buy signal. I guess that's probably Wednesday or Thursday, looking at this chart. And it was not elected, but again, the market accelerated to the downside. So trading both ways around the Danielcode TO3 and plus signals, it's certainly a time when you can expect a bit more excitement than is normal. Free trials, this is the contact information. If any of you would like a free trial of the Danielcode, you just click on the register button at the website, follow the prompts and email your username to terry@support@thedanielcode.com, and he will arrange a free trial for you of anything that you wish. And if you would like a free trial of FractZen, you need to only email Terry and tell him what markets you would like to trial. We're happy to give you a 4-day free trial. You'll get enough signals in that period to let you be totally aware of what's happening. But if you want a trial of the whole Danielcode stuff, Terry's the guy for that also. In fact, he's our go-to guy. Because I have talked about money in trading today, I have to show you this compliance document, which warns you that there is a risk in all forms of trading, and that you can lose money as well as make money. Okay, that's the end of our slideshow, and let me close that, and now let me take you to the other things I wanted to show you. Let's start with looking at, this is a chart I wanted to put in here to show you, and I'm digressing, but I wanted to show you the, this is an oil chart, and I want to show you just how well this trading's been going and how much money has been made. It's quite extraordinary. This is what we call the summer period. It's normally a quiet time in markets. I don't know why. The idea is that folks are on holidays. Europe certainly is. This is their August is the traditional month when the country pretty well shuts down for a month and they take their summer holidays. But we have this idea of quiet summer trading. Well, we're not getting it. We're just getting a ton of volatility. Now, this is one of those markets that's away from gold and the EMini, even though they've both done well. But back here, this stuff's coming straight off the Danielcode website, and these are the TO3 and Plus signals, which is our basic membership package. And those of you who haven't done so yet, you should get a free trial of the website, and you'll see under the, we've just made it as easy as is possible for you people. Under the trade program, you'll see the signals each day. It will tell you exactly where to enter the market, exactly where to put your stop loss, and from there you can use to start with the protocols which are under that page, which are defensive protocols. They're designed for new traders, and they are designed to keep you safe. Once you feel comfortable and you know what you're doing, you can open your shoulders a bit and you can start keeping and holding these trades longer, excuse me, where appropriate. And you can use a 2-bar trailing stop on the daily chart, which will morph into a 1-bar trailing stop as the stochastic gets overbought. And if you like, that can all be done automatically for you with our GMAG Auto Trade program. This trade started back here on June the 25th. There was a TO3 buy signal, and it has just gone straight up all the way, right up here at this bar here, which is July the 17th. You got stopped out because we're by then well and truly onto a 1-bar trailing stop, but that was a FractZen buy as well as a GMAG buy, so you could have got straight back in and up to the top. These red lines you see are the 4th seal lines, which forecast market turns, we say weeks, sometimes months in advance. What you're seeing is the 4th seal on the daily charts, which I haven't taught you yet, but I will be teaching at the Waiheke tutorial. And in many cases, they're a form of support and resistance, and in other cases, they're turning points. Not all of that, the information you need is on this chart, but I've just given you the bare bones to see that the market ran up there. That run up there, you can see, was worth $11,700 per one contract. And then you got the TO3 next sell signal, and you got short here on July the 22nd. That trade went straight down into this conjunction of support and resistance lines and time cycles, which are not on this chart, but they're the key, they're the charm that makes these turns happen. And that short trade was worth $3,800 per one contract. Rally back up. I actually got out only a few ticks from the high of this bar because I had a limit exit because I knew where the 4th seal line was. And that little trade in 3 days made $4,200, and the current short is down $2,700. So $20,000 per one contract in crude using just the basic Danielcode TO3 and Plus signals. And if you knew nothing else, you'd have got the vast majority of that. If you'd been to a tutorial or looked at the webinars I've done, all of which are available under the videos link at the Danielcode website. You would have known about the 2-bar trailing stop into one. You would have got almost all of that. $20,000 in since June the 27th per one contract. So as you can see, it's worth your time and effort to get seriously good at this stuff, and it's not the only one by any means. Here's, as an example, the soybean trade today, which was a blue line and also a let me move this over a bit for you. A blue line and also a TO3 signal, and it turned right, of course, at its daily fourth seal, and there was a nice bit of money there for you gold buffs. Here is the buy signal on gold, which we had posted. It was a plus buy and today, and it's been a Huey buy for 2 days, and that little bit of price action was worth $2,300 per one contract in gold on 1 day, and it's got further to go. And our subscription for you to get those signals is less than 1/10 of that 1 day return. So if you're not already a Danielcode member getting these signals, I suggest that you're dedicated to poverty, and it would be better if you got on and started making the money out of this. So let's move on now to the FractZen live chart, and here is the chart of copper, and you can see that this market had this inevitable buy, sell, buy. That's the consolidation phase. When it moved away, you made a lot of money. There's the buy down there, and off it went. You had this another consolidation phase, made a bit of money on the way down, and then away it went. You just look at the money that this thing's made. There's the buy signal there, $3,237 in that one trade. Here's the buy signal to today's close, another $2,800 before there's $6,000, and a couple of little losers in here, not much. There's the sell, there's the buy. That's about break even. This sell here came down and actually made almost $1,000. So they're the possibilities with FractZen, and I suggest to you, if you're not going to use it, you're mad. But I know that that's a comment that applies to a lot of traders. I think it's terribly, terribly exciting, and I'm really thrilled that we've been able to bring this to you now. Let's talk about stops, excuse me, and how to trade this. I started off with the idea that I wanted to just give you the signals, and you can do with them whatever you like, which you can. But here are some ideas. You need to have a stop loss. The reality is, and this is something that no one will ever tell you, is that stop losses actually reduce the efficacy of trading from a pure point of view, but you just can't take the risk of trading without stops. So you need to put on a stop loss. The simplest way to do that is to just have a dollar stop. Work out what you think is your risk that you're happy with, and just put that on as a fixed dollar amount. So in a market like this, if you wanted to risk a few $100s in your stops, you'll notice that almost always, once these markets start to move on this particular method of charting that I've created here, you don't tend to get any much pullback, so you don't need a big stop. Having said that, you can also find that there are occasions when the market will actually take out the swing before it moves away and gives you a result. So the main thing with your trading is to have a consistent trading program that you're happy with, that you personally are comfortable with. And I often say to people at tutorials, you've got to make this stuff your own. And what I mean by that is you've got to put it in a form that's going to be suitable for you, the way you want to trade. So if you want to use small stops, fine, go ahead. If you want to use a bit bigger stop, even better. And you can make your fixed dollar stop a trailing stop, so that as the market moves away, the stop will move with it. And you can talk to William or Jerry. They'll explain all that to you in more detail. But that's going to be the best method of stop losses here, either a fixed dollar stop or a trailing dollar stop. The issue here for many of you is going to be, how do you trade this stuff? Well, how I trade it, I just take every signal as it comes. But I'm able to trade out of hours because I have other people who look after my trading while I'm sleeping, and you don't. So for most of you, if you can handle the signals overnight, you'll certainly make more money if you can hold these positions overnight, because you'll see some of these trades run for days and days and days. So this trade here, just looking at this copper chart, started on July the 30th, and it didn't go on to the sell signal to finish the trade until August the 4th. So you had 1, 2, 3, 4 trading days in there. The same with this. You had your this trade was elected and started off its run on August the 7th. Incidentally, the market's much higher than this now. This trade just whooshed way up here. But this trade started on August the 7th, and today we're actually starting the 9th where I live. We're a bit ahead of you in time, and this market's open and still live. So if you can manage to just take the signals as they come, that's the optimum way to trade. If you can't, then you're going to have to exit at the end of day or exit market on close. And that's just, a matter for what suits you guys personally. I know for some reason people have absolute hysterics about holding trades overnight. And I've been through that as well. In fact, I've been through everything. I've been doing this for 30 years. There's not much, and another 20 years trading stocks before that. So there's not much I haven't seen. And I understand that. A good friend of mine, Ben, who I know will be with us, just gets carbuncles thinking about holding trades overnight. But, if you feel like that, you can exit market on close, and you can then re-enter. But they're your two options. You can either have your fixed dollar stop at the point of entry, or you can make that into a trailing dollar stop, or you can give a period of time and you can move it to break even when the market's moved away and leave it there. You can see these charts change almost every day. They're not a static fixed chart. So those of you who are going to run away and try and replicate these charts, don't waste your time, because it doesn't work that way. There's a program behind this which is actually reading implied volatility in these markets every day, and it's not implied volatility as you know it, and no, it's not the VIX. It's a proprietary method I've invented, and it reads that every day, and it adjusts the number of bars and the settings for the size of the bars and the time it takes to create to them every couple of days pretty well. So what you're looking at now is not the current chart, and these settings change all the time. And that's the key to this, that it needed that volatility switch so that it reads as the market runs what the levels of volatility are in each individual market, and it makes its adjustment for that. So these charts change pretty well every day. But, just looking at time to give you an idea, here is a bar that completed at 2100. The next bar was quite quick. This completed at 2129. This bar here didn't change until 23. There's a couple of hours. This bar changed at 2:59 the next day, 3. So there's 4 hours per bar. And this one didn't change until 5 a.m. and this one was another fast one, 6 a.m. Here this is getting close to the open. It's moving a bit more, 9 a.m., 12, 3 hours for that bar, and then 1700, 5 hours for that bar. So the speed of this chart changes with the, I hate to use that word algorithm because it's so overused, but there is a program running behind these charts on the Danielcode servers that is changing the speed of the charts so that they are running according to a standard of volatility or implied volatility that I've created and that Trade Navigator initially programmed for me, and since then that Terry has now programmed this particular version. So I thank all those people who've been involved. It's a very complex mathematical creation to get it to work, but look, it is working. We've had this stuff in one form or another for a couple of years, and it's not until recently that I've been comfortable enough to release it to you. So there you are. You've seen the chart. You've seen the FractZen webinar, and so these will be available to you. If you are interested in having a free trial, please send your preferred cell phone number to Terry at support@thedanielcode.com. And over the weekend he will be switching those on. You'll start getting signals on Monday, and I hope you think it's as fantastic as I do. Thank you for your attendance, and there we are. So the next webinar will be on the 15th. I hope to see you there. This is being recorded, and Terry will have it posted probably in the next 24 hours.